Hey, what's up YouTube? In this video, I'll be showing you how to make Peppa Pig's house. This is the amount of space required to make your build. Feel free to make this grid in your world if you do feel as though it will help you out. And here are all of the materials that we will use throughout the build. Please do make sure that you have access to all of these. Step 1. If you have made the grid, locate the front left hand corner of it and count to the right 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then inwards 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Begin by placing 3 yellow concrete extending right. 1, 2, 3. And then 2 yellow terracotta. 1, 2. 3 yellow concrete. 1, 2, 3. Extend the yellow concrete backwards by 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And then extend across the back of the build and join all the way back to the front of the build, like this, in a rectangular shape. Extend the yellow terracottas that you have placed up by 2 rows, so 1, 2. We then want to place an acacia button in front of the right center block. On top of the yellow terracotta, place 2 rows of yellow concrete, followed by 2 rows of light blue stained glass. On top of that, place a row of yellow concrete, and extend the yellow concrete to the left and down to the front corner of the house, and to the right and down to the opposite front corner. We can then fill these areas in using yellow concrete like this, and once we are done, we will be left with what looks kind of like a, I don't know, like a cyclops chicken or something. I don't even know what I'm looking at. Well, once we've done that, we can come to the back of the build, and we simply want to raise up the back of the build using yellow concrete until the yellow concrete is as high as the wall on the front of the build. And this is going to kind of dictate the height of the house. So, like this. Or at least the height of the walls on the front and the back. On the left and right sides of the house, we have windows. So, begin by placing a row of yellow concrete along the inside of the sides of the house. So from top to bottom like this. We then want to place a 2x2 square of light blue glass just on the bottom of the row. Place 2 rows of yellow concrete on top of the glass, followed by 2 more rows of 2x2 squares of light blue glass. Then fill in between these in using yellow concrete, and then add an additional row of yellow concrete along the top. All we have to do is come to the opposite side of the build and do pretty much the exact same thing. Going to begin by placing 2 vertical rows on the left and right side, 2 2x2 squares of light blue glass, 2 rows of yellow concrete on top of the glass, and then another 2x2 square of light blue glass on top. Add a row of yellow concrete on top of these to join the front and the back of the build together. And ultimately, once that entire side has been filled in, we will be left with the shape of the house that we want. Now, all we have to do is make the roof section, so this is quite easy. From the front to the back, we want to place rows of yellow concrete that are 1 row shorter than each other until we eventually hit a high point, until we can place no more. And we simply just have to do this on both sides, and this will give us the shape of our roof. So nice and simple, just like this. Using acacia stairs, we want to place acacia stairs connecting the left and right sides of the build together, and the acacia stairs want to be placed in front of and ultimately on top of the yellow concrete. So we've already quickly made half of the roof, so we can take a little look at this. That's perfect, and we just want to make the other half. Now, keeping in line with the actual design of the house, we aren't going to extend the roof over or make it any fancier than it has to be. I'm trying to make it look like the actual original house itself, so we are just going to keep it to this shape right here. We're not going to make it overhang or anything like that. Grab iron bars and locate. So this is a tricky way to explain it, or better yet actually, come all the way up to the top front right hand side of the roof and count inwards 1, 2, 3. On top of this block here, the stair that is just like one row down, if that makes sense, you want to place a row of 1, 2, 3 iron bars on top of each other, and then extend the center iron bar left and right. And that's all we have to do. So once you have done that, we are going to add a little bit of a pathway to the front of the house. So we're just going to use some stone bricks directly in front of the door. And then this pathway we're kind of going to dig into the ground. And we want it to curve to the right a little bit and kind of line it up with the right side of the house. So dig a couple of rows in front and then leave this corner block off here and then start going right, maintaining a double wide path like this. Then we are going to make the car. So we're going to make the car without a roof because there's some variations of this, you know, depending upon what episode you might watch and what have you, you will see the car without a roof. So do feel free to give it one if you are so inclined. I'm sure that you'd easily be able to figure that out, but we're going to make the car without one. And to make it, we need some red wool, glow item frames, tripwire hook, crimson stairs, glass pane, red carpet, stone button, black concrete. And lastly, we will also need some birch fence as well. So directly to the left of this pathway, and I think that we'll literally just, we want to place it about here. So from where the path sort of like stops being straight and starts to curve, we'll leave a gap of 1 and then we'll place a red wall, extend it left by 2. Place glow item frames in front of the left and right walls with a tripwire hook in front of the center. Place a crimson stair behind the center block and black concrete to the left and right of the stair, like this. We then want to add a row of red wool directly behind this. And then on the left and right side, we want to place a black concrete on the left and right, red wool in between, add an additional row of red wool behind. We need to make a windshield, so we're going to place glass pane just along the front of the car. Red carpet, pretty much, we want to place red carpet in kind of like a circle around the car, or kind of like a U shape, or maybe like an N or something, but you guys get the idea. We could even give this a back seat as well if you wanted to, so like if you wanted to leave a little space, then we can also have a back seat. And then if you were just to place like a red carpet just in the center, that would be just fine. We have to place stone buttons for the sides of the wheels. And that is pretty much the car, ladies and gentlemen. Nice and simple. And last but not least, we are going to add a fence around the house. But the reason that I have made this elevated is just basically just so that it looks a little bit nicer for the thumbnail, and it also makes this build stand out a little bit more. So I'm just going to knock the corners off of this, just like this, to make it curved, so that it's kind of like built on a mound. Not only have I done this for the thumbnail, but I believe that the house is actually made on kind of like a hill. So that's why I've also done that. Like it just seems to make sense. So I think that it looks a little bit better elevated. And now that I'm kind of happy with the shape of this, I'm just going to place some birch fence just around the house like this. And I'm going to curve it around. And I'm just going to kind of like box this in a little bit. So I think that this will just look pretty good. And I think that, where do I want to extend the fence to? I might just line it up with the front of the house and kind of leave this a little bit open. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is Peppa Pig's house. Thank you so much for watching, everybody. I do hope that you have enjoyed this tutorial. If you have, please do remember to like and subscribe. Click that little bell next to the subscription button. That'll ensure that you get all my videos sent directly to your sub box. And that's it. I hope to see you guys in the next one. Goodbye.